If you or your loved ones are concerned about your safety, watching this video will give you a few ideas on what you can do to improve your personal security. This is the Urban Sentinel. Let's get into it. We are without a doubt living in some uncertain times. Chaos just seems to keep popping up everywhere. And there are so many things going on, it's hard to really wrap your head around it. But one of the things that people are most concerned about is in fact their safety and the safety of the people they care about. Is light security. Now, traditional room darkening curtains do reduce the light significantly, leaving a very, very small percentage to permeate. In some cases, depending upon your window design, could almost completely eliminate any light coming in. But in terms of overall security, the problem is there's still that small amount that could permeate. And for safety reasons, think of it this way. There might be a power outage. It could be localized to your neighborhood or your entire city. It might be regional to a whole portion of the country, or it could be a grid down situation. On the other aspect, it could be a case where the power is up and running, everyone still has it, but you have rioting and looting and everything else going on. You want to be able to ensure that, effectively speaking, people can't see into where you're at, whether you're on the first floor of an apartment building, whether you're on the third floor of a house, whatever the situation is, you want to attract zero attention to you. And with this, roll of duct tape, a decent pair of scissors, and a 42-gallon contractor bag, I'll show you how you can do just that. Now, the reason why I'm choosing the contractor bags over just regular garbage bags, plain and simple, the material itself is a lot more resilient, it's heavy duty, and the bag, when opened up, holds to a more or less rectangular shape, making it easier to fit to any size window. Now, the bag overall is 32 inches in width, and usable space is overall 42 inches all the way up to where the ties are. You can measure that out against the window frame, the interior of the window that you want to use. Now, right off the top, you think to yourself, wouldn't it be easier to board up the windows? It makes it more secure. 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 inch plywood. Absolutely. Problem with that is not everyone can afford to buy enough plywood and put it up outside their windows or have the capability. I mean, think about it. If you're on the 3rd floor, 4th floor, 5th floor, you're not getting outside with a bucket truck and lifting you up that high. And also with the cost of plywood nowadays, that's an expense that, yes, when you can afford it and it's something you can do, good on you. But if you're in an apartment building, the landlord's not going to take too highly to you drilling holes on the outside of their building. This, however, makes it easier and faster. You can take rolls of these, pre-mark them for the windows. Use a piece of white duct tape and black marker and mark off what windows they're going to go to, whether you label them, by the actual room that they're in, or you numerically set it up where wherever you keep those bags, you start with the first window in that location and work your way around in, let's say, a clockwise formation. But again, the primary purpose is to prevent light from inside escaping out, signaling to the world, especially in the dark, that, hey, someone at that location has power. You might have a solar battery backup that you can run everything in your place. You might be running off of flashlights and candles. Does not matter. The simple fact is that if someone on the outside observed light coming from your area, that's going to draw them literally like moths to a flame. And it may be an innocent person who's just simply curious. It may be someone who's scared, or it may be someone that has ill intent on taking what they want from whoever it is. So you don't need that. And in daylight, and people don't think about this, yes, broad daylight, you can look at a window of a house or an apartment and it can be difficult to see in. But if there is any type of light in the background or coming from the side or sufficient active movement too close to the window, that also can be an indicator that there's someone there. Now, this window is the same width across, but it is longer than the single bag. The advantage to having the measurements already known, you've got two simple options. One, obviously, you can use a second bag, open it up, bring it to the approximate length that you need to, use the duct tape to tape it to the primary bag, and then that gives you the longer length that you'll need. If it's a case of the window is wider than the bag, same thing again. Bring it out to its full length and then tape it approximately to make up the width that you need. The other option for this style window, take the scissors, go to the opening and cut up the seam all the way to the bottom, but don't cut the bottom seam, and then repeat the process on the other side. That increases the length of the bag and keeps it the same width, and then you can adjust where you need to place the top portion of the bag along the window. Your primary concern is going to be making sure that when you seal it up, it blocks out all the light coming in. This way you know confidently with the tape along the edges, it's going to prevent light from getting out, and it's going to effectively make a black surface against the windows, making it more difficult for a person to clearly tell with any amount of depth perception if there's simply nothing in the room, if the room itself is dark, or if they just simply can't see through the glass to clearly see what's inside. Now I've already cut one side. I'm just going to zip the edge of the scissors along and get the second side opened up. With these bags also, it makes it a little bit easier that they have been folded. They've somewhat creased along the edges. So it makes getting the scissors in there, as long as they're nice and sharp, a smooth, easy process. And again, you get down towards the end, you don't want to snip across the entire thing, just down the sides and leave the very bottom end connected. Now I've already got it taped across the top. It's just a matter of lining it up. I'm going to go over the outside portion of it just to get it up here to give you an idea. And you put it across the top of the windowsill. In this case, I've got these curtains, so I'm going to have to lift them up, slide it behind. Easy enough to do. Make sure you get both halves in there. And just feed it down. Now, clearly, if you were in a serious situation, you'd pull these curtains off, you'd move them out the way. That's not a big deal. I'm not doing that because this demonstration leads to me getting this done without leaving a trace behind. Now, I've only put the tape across the top and draped it down. You can still see a little bit of light along this edge and then a little bit of light there. The most light that you do notice is down here towards the bottom. But again, this is just one piece of tape across the top. Now, if I'm going to do this effectively for the purpose that it needs to be done, I'd put 2 layers down each side, I'd press it on real good, I'd secure across the bottom. But again, I'm not going to do that because when I go to remove that, there's a possibility that it may take some of the paint off, and then I'm going to be in a whole different safety situation altogether. So there you have it. A box of 42-gallon Contractor bags, a roll of duct tape, and a decent pair of scissors, and you can set up blackout curtains on the interior, do it yourself in an emergency, to add an extra layer of security to your home, your house, your shelter, whatever the case may be. And this is simple enough that you could have small children help you out. If you've got step stools or little ladders, that can help you reach the top part of the window. So if you get everything measured out, you know the number of bags and how you need to set it up, and you get everything ready to go, you could probably spend no more than 1 minute to 2 minutes maximum per window if you needed to black out your entire location and keep you safe from prying eyes and anyone else that may have, you know, bad deeds in mind and doing things like that sort of thing. But other than that, it's an option that you have. It's something that's quick, easy to do, and a little bit of something is still better than nothing. So that's it for now. I'll catch you in the next one.